be a trip I had in Barcelona with my rugby team. We were going over there for, I think it was 4 days, playing local teams and just having a bit of a holiday during, I think it was Easter. But the day before the matches started, we were going on a trip just around Barcelona, seeing the sights. And at about midway, we were changing buses, and everyone went to kind of get some food or whatever, because we were in a square, and we were supposed to come back in, I think, 5 or 10 minutes for the next bus. And we did, and we all got on the next bus. I unfortunately got on the wrong one with 2 other lads, and we ended up at the far side of Barcelona in about 2 hours with no stops on the bus, so we couldn't get off. At that point, none of us had our phones because we had just gotten there, and we had no idea where the hotel was since we hadn't been there yet. So we spent about 3 hours just rambling around Barcelona until we found the Irish embassy, and we asked them, could we use a phone, and then we just called the lads and told them where we were.
My most memorable journey, I have 2. So my first most memorable journey involves getting on a 2-day train ride in first class air conditioning from New Delhi to Bangalore in India, and it was so cold. It was so cold, and I had the big duvet over me the whole time, even though outside was like 40 degrees. It was crazy. My second most memorable journey is driving with my cousin and uncle and aunt from Texas, which is the bottom state of the United States, if you did not know that, to Butte, Montana, which is the top state. And that took also about a day and a half non-stop. My uncle and aunt took shifts. But yeah, that is my amazing journeys and travels. I travel a lot.
My most memorable journey was one that happened when I think I was probably about 19, when I decided that I was going to go away on my own because I didn't want to spend, it was the summertime, I didn't want to spend the summer with my friends or whatever, so I got a ticket to go on the bus and boat to Amsterdam. When I was at Amsterdam, when I was in Amsterdam, I decided that I was going to go to Budapest, but no money, so I decided to hitchhike from Amsterdam to Budapest. And my most memorable journey was probably that one where it took me about 2 weeks to travel across Europe from Amsterdam to Budapest. Met lots of amazing people and had a fascinating time on the way. So that was my most memorable journey. Yeah, I was staying in a town called Eimwooden, I think it's pronounced, and it's a holiday resort for German people in Holland, mostly German people, and I met a group who were on holidays together, and they gave me a lift to Siegen, which is in part of Germany, Rhine Valley I think, and it was on the way to Budapest, and I managed to stay with them for a couple of days on the way down. But the guy that I was staying with had been in the stadium when the Heysel disaster happened with the Liverpool fans and all that, so he spoke to me about witnessing all those people being killed. I think there was a wall collapsed, lots of people died, so that was kind of memorable and amazing.
One of the memorable journeys was I was in Bulgaria on a family holiday, and we see an ad up for a taxi journey into a rustic old town and included in it was a journey to a crystal factory and a chairlift ride. And see, those are things that sound good, don't they? So after a 3-hour-long sweaty taxi ride, it was all organised by a man named Keto, whom my dad called Keith. And after an incredibly sweaty taxi ride, we ended up in what he called the rustic town. and it was just the biggest hole you've ever seen. I wouldn't call it rustic, I'd call it more rusty. It was a horrible place. And then the Crystal Factory. Wasn't a Crystal Factory, it was a small shop called the Crystal Factory that sold snow globes. And then we finally made it to the chairlift. Now you'd be expecting some kind of big machine system, like fancy chairlifts. It could only be described as a bench on a string going up on a mountain. Like you'd sneeze and the whole system would shake. And then finally, when we got to the top, Keith, as my dad called him, took off his shirt, started breathing really heavily, so going, "You go for a walk, yes?" I was terrified. As the large, sweaty, half-naked man breathed really heavily and asked me to go for a walk. And that was an interesting journey.
One time, most of my family lives in Belfast on my dad's side. So most often, like every 2 months, we go to Belfast and back. And one time, I was very little. I was only about 9. I think my sister was 7. Something. Anyway, all I can remember is going to McDonald's on the way back, and me and my sister started having fun with the bags. It was still in the bag, and she had like 7-Up or something, and she just squirted it all over the wall. We were having like a squirt fight in the back of the car. Basically, that went on for about 15 minutes, despite my dad getting really angry because we're getting the car soaked, and there's still stains in the car. You can see where we soaked the car with 7-Up and Coke, and we got so wet. That sounds really bad, but yeah, until my dad finally had enough. He stopped in the middle of the roundabout. He got my sister out. He didn't take me out, but he put my sister on the side of the road. He left her there. He drove off. And this is in the middle of like, where? This is like near beside Belfast, in the middle of nowhere. My sister's 7, 5, something like that. And I came back in 5 minutes, and my sister was so scared and crying, and my dad felt so bad. And yeah, that would be my most memorable journey.
And one time we were on the Dart, right, and there's loads of us. And there was one of those ones where there's like a big standing area for like, you know, boys in the wheelchairs and stuff. But basically, there was this lad walking past the car, he looked like Elvis. And he had a big old Elvis haircut on him, big. And basically there's this lad, and he was like, "Oh, look, hi Elvis." And then does an Elvis big scorpy head and him come back, "Who said that?" And then we're like, no, and then he singled out this one lad called Jack, and he was like, "Did you say that about me?" And then Jack was like, "No," and Jack actually didn't, but he was adamant that Jack had said this, that he looked like Elvis, and he did look like Elvis. But anyway, he got his ginger mate down with one of those big fucking huge stretchable lobe earrings, and basically, you know, we were pretty scared because like he had missed his stop at this stage to keep fighting about this Elvis comment, and you know, shit began to get real. But anyway, transpired that he goes up for a big wind up and hits Jack in the face. Jack goes down, and then like these two big fuckers from these two big lads from Bray come up and just beat the shit out of him, and then like at Dunleary, like the doors just open and we just rolled him out onto the platform at Dunleary, and he was just, oh, so good.
One time I was on the Dart and there was a bunch of Spanish students just, you know, being annoying, and they kept laughing and pointing at me, and I just wasn't really paying attention to them. And then one of them asked if they could take a picture of me, and I said yes because I didn't really know what to do. And then they took a photo of me and said I was really pretty, and that's that.
Well, I don't know, it's not one particular journey, but like when I used to get the bus in to primary school on the bus route, there was like they changed drivers a lot, but there was one driver that stayed from like 4th, 5th and 6th class, and I don't know, I didn't really like, there was none of my friends on the bus route, so I just talked to him, the bus driver, for like the whole time. and he was a really good guy. It was just like the first time I probably had like like an interaction, like a constant interaction with an adult other than my parents, and he was really cool. Like he got me my first neck brace for a harmonica, so I could play guitar and harmonica at the same time. And he just gave it to me because I said I'd love to play harmonica and the guitar at the same time, but I didn't know how to do it. And the next day he just brought it in for me. It's really nice. But like it's not one particular journey, but I just remember that very distinctly. All those times, those bus routes.
I think my most memorable journey would have been when I was with my friend just going for an average walk on summer holidays. So our walk started off fine and it was good, and then we came to these two travellers at Johnstown Pitch and Putt who tried to drive their camper van into the pitch and putt. However, they got stuck in mud as it was raining heavily the night before. So they asked us if we would push their camper van, which is far bigger than us, out of the mud. So, us being suckers said, yes, fine, we will. We end up pushing the camper van and it goes really, really badly. The wheels start turning and we get splattered in mud. It's absolutely shite. I was wearing new shoes that day and they also got muddy. They're also white, so it wasn't great for us. So we continued on our journey, and as it was raining the night before, the whole place was covered in puddles. And my friend was on the right of me, closest to the road, and suddenly this car out of nowhere just comes and splashes him. So he is fully soaked, and my immediate reaction was just to start swearing at the car, even though the car is far down the road. Anyway, so we continue on our journey, and at this stage, I've got muddy shoes, my friend is soaked, so it's not great. Anyway, we're continuing on. And next thing, my friend just runs instantly because he saw what he thought was €20. It wasn't actually just €20. It was two €20 notes. So then both me and him got €20 each, which is great karma considering our really rotten luck earlier. A little more uneventful would be that afterwards we saw our caretaker driving on the road.
Okay, well, my friend Jenna goes to Kerry usually for around Christmas and New Year's to see her family, and my friend Shan was away as well, so they're kind of the two people that I stick around with the most. So Jenna suggested that I go down to Kerry and see her, and I asked my friend at the time, Connor, if he'd like to come with me. I didn't know him that well, and we had to take a train. I went to be alone, sitting together, facing each other for 4 hours over and 4 hours back, and then spend, a full day and a full night together. Well, at one point on the way over, we were playing cards, and he had all the, he had the entire deck kind of sprawled all over the little table that we were sharing, and he was just kind of saying, guess which card, and then turning it over and I'd guess, and I'd obviously get it wrong because one of the odds would get it right. But at one point, he was about to turn over a card and I said the Eight of Hearts? The Eight of Hearts. It's kind of bad that I didn't remember that. I said the Eight of Hearts and he turned over and it was the Eight of Hearts, and it was a really exciting time during that journey. Then on the way back, when we were getting quite close to Dublin, I was I kind of started to realise that I kind of like this guy a little bit, and so underneath the table I tried to kind of, start to rub his leg with my foot or kind of look at him in a kind of hey type of way, but he just didn't get it because he's stupid, and he's still really stupid. He still doesn't get any of that. That's when I also first realised that he was an idiot. So yeah, that's when I really got to know him, and then a few months later we started going out, and now everything's nice, so yeah, that's where our relationship sort of started from.
Well, this was actually a journey coming home from school. It was real funny, right? Because we were all on the dart, right? We were there, pretty empty, right? It's pretty empty, and you know, it was me and a few people were there, and sure, when we sitting there, and we look down the carriage, and we see this head going up and down from behind the seat. I was like, the fuck's that? So we moved up a bit, craned the neck around, and then we see some girl giving a lad head on the dart in the middle of the day. This was on a Wednesday as well, so it was about 1:30, you know. And there's a few CBC lads, you know, or fucking Willow Park or one of them, you know, 5th class sitting there. What the fuck's that? And then there was this like there was like a Loretto doggy bird just sitting there, like kind of like trying not to look. But and it was real funny because the lad was real cheeky. Like he gets off the balloon, he gets up, he's like doing his belt up as he like walks down the carriage. But at times. Contemplated ringing into the Adrian Kennedy phone show, but wasn't to be.